When I was in grade 7, our class watched a documentary about girls in Africa who sacrificed their education to walk hours every day to collect water. I learned that over 790 million people don't have access to clean water. That's 11% of the population. It only costs $25 to give one person a lifetime's worth of water, and 11% of the population doesn't have that. I watched this documentary speechless, and I watched these people drink murky water that they had walked hours to find. Water that they had sacrificed their education for. Water that at some point in their life would probably kill them. I sat in that stuffy, crowded classroom in total shock, and later that evening, unable to get this image out of my mind, I researched as much as I could about the issue. I learned that around 3.5 million people die every year due to water-related diseases. That's the equivalent of one person dying every 10 seconds, or a jumbo jet crashing every hour. That's 3 times the amount of people that have died this year due to COVID-19. By the end of this speech, over 50 people would have died due to water-related diseases. Dirty water kills more people than any amount of guns or war, and yet it is often looked over. After learning all this information, I did what I could to make sense of it in my mind. I tried coming up with excuses as to why I wasn't doing anything, as to why I would spend $25 on a phone case that I probably didn't need instead of saving someone's life. However, the more excuses I made, the guiltier I felt. It just felt so unfair to those people with no water. I tried using the excuse that it was my money that I had worked for so I could spend it how I wanted, and though this was true, it didn't make me feel any better. Yes, I worked for my money, but I did not have to work for my ability to have clean water. That was something that I was born into. I got lucky. I won the lottery of places to be born, but not everyone got that lucky, and it seems such a pity to leave them behind. I would also look at billionaires and think, how could they be so selfish? They should donate so much more. This became another excuse that I used for not stepping up. They have more money than me. They should be the ones to donate it. And this is not untrue. People with more money should donate more. But I have heard people say that if they had more money, they would donate more. However, the way that we look at people like Jeff Bezos and other billionaires is the way that people with no water look at us. Honestly, we all want what we don't have, when quite frankly we have enough. If you only donate money when you think you have enough, you drive yourself crazy because every time you meet your expectations, you just raise them. I also realized that even if I did wait until I thought I had enough money to donate, so many people would have died between then. I kept procrastinating donating because I had no sense of urgency, and I kept forgetting that every 10 seconds that I didn't donate, somebody died because of dirty water. Over the following days of watching this documentary, I kept waiting for my feeling of guilt to pass. I kept waiting for the night that I didn't go to bed feeling selfish. But that day never came, and to this day I still lie awake thinking about everything in the world that I would change if I could. At first I thought I felt guilty for the privilege that I was born into, the clean water that I drank every day. But then I realized I didn't feel bad for that. I felt guilty that I didn't use the privilege that I had to make a difference. And suddenly I wasn't sad about the horrible injustice. I was upset about the people who did nothing about it. I'm glad that the guilt I felt didn't subside, because the moment that you accept something for how it is the moment that we give up on change. It seems to me as though too many people have accepted the situation as it is and have started feeling guilty for what they aren't changing. I'm glad that my guilt didn't subside because it forced me to recognize the situation. We can get overwhelmed in the situation that we live in, and we can forget that it only takes $25 to change someone's life forever. If I sold my laptop, I would be able to give 45 people access to clean water for their whole life. Everybody at Crofton has their laptop, and if we all sold them, we would be able to give 45,000 people clean water. However, our MacBooks help us learn, educate ourselves, and have become an essential part of our everyday life. Now, I'm not saying sell your laptop. Just realize the power that your money has. Right now, if I sold everything that I'm wearing, including my shoes, I would be able to give at least 5 people access to clean water for a lifetime. If I sold the hairbrush I use this morning, my earrings, moisturizer, I would be able to give another 2 or 3 people clean water. The money that we use in our life can add up so quickly that we forget how much it is worth. Now, when all is said and done, I am a 15-year-old high school student and I have no business telling you how to spend your money. All I hope is that as a society, we can become more conscious with how and what we are spending money on. We have to recognize the impact and the power that our money has and how it could affect someone else's life. And if when all of these things considered, you still think that you should buy what you buy, then by all means, go ahead. Because it's not just about the people with no water. That is just one example I have chosen to talk about. There are many things in the world that we would want to change, and I'm sure all of us could think of at least 5 things that we would like to change in the world we live in. We think about the issues in our world daily, and we often talk about what we hope for change. This is the first step to creating change, and it is an important step, but the first step is only useful if you use the other steps. We have to take action. Nothing is going to change in the world just because you acknowledge a problem. And we need to take action soon because every 10 seconds, somebody dies because of dirty water. And we also can't count on other people to take action for us. We often think that everyone else will be moved to take action. Everyone else will be moved to donate, so it's okay if we don't. But we all think remarkably similarly, and we can't count on others to do something that we are not willing to do ourselves. I am 15, and I am not quite sure what my purpose in life is, or how much money I will have. However, I do know that given my head start in life, I will likely have more money than I need. And I am committed to being purposeful with how and what I spend my money on, and how I can use my money to make a difference in the world. We all have so much power, and we can't waste it. All of us, including myself, spend money on things that we don't need. But if we took all that money and gave it to the people who really need it, think about the world we could create. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make.